We detected an unusual trade worth $12 million on Peloton stock, ticker symbol PTON. Somebody just took a massive position on the company that makes exercise bikes, betting they're about to ride this stock all the way uphill. Let's just hope this trade does not end up going nowhere, like their stationary bikes. And so, in this video, we'll break down this unusual option activity to figure out whether this wealthy investor is going bullish and buying the dip, expecting the stock to move higher, or bearish and selling, expecting it to drop lower. Because as we all know, the rich have more access to exclusive research and information, sometimes even leaked insider information, giving them an edge to make better, smarter financial decisions. This is how smart money always stays one step ahead, well before the rest of the market catches on. No wonder the rich get richer. And so, to level the playing field, let's dive into the unusual option activity to gain insights from the rich so that our subscribers and members can profit from this deep knowledge too. As we can see here on the options time and sales tape, there was unusual option activity on October 10th at 11:50 a.m. at the 29-second mark in these April 17th options at the 10-strike calls, 13-strike calls, and the 5-strike puts. We can see that a quantity of 50,000 contracts were being traded for the call options, compared to 25,000 put options. That's exactly twice as many calls as puts, a 2-to-1 ratio in favor of the calls. So what does it all mean? Is this option strategy a long bullish trade or a short bearish bet? And is this investor opening a brand new trade or closing an old one? Because if they're closing contracts, it signals concern or a loss of conviction. In that case, it might not be the right time for us to jump in. But if they're opening new contracts, that could signal an opportunity for us to start a new trade. So let's take a closer look at the data on the option chain for these April 17th options at the 5-strike puts. We can see volume spiked to 25,000 contracts, while open interest was only 100 open contracts. That clearly indicates new positions being opened, since the number of previously open contracts was much lower. The same goes for the call side. At the 10-strike calls, volume jumped to 50,000 contracts with just 3,000 open contracts. And at the 13-strike calls, the 50,000 contracts just traded pushed the volume far above the open interest of just 100 open contracts. So, this tells us that this wealthy investor was opening new contracts for positions across all of these options, because you simply cannot close out thousands of contracts if they did not exist before. We always take the extra steps to verify the data at a deeper level. Many other websites and scanners simply report every high-volume unusual trade without filtering out closing trades, and that often leads to false signals, wrong results, and losses for those following unusual option activity. And that is why our deeper analysis gives us more winning trades than other websites. And in this case, our deeper analysis confirmed that this wealthy investor was opening a new trade. So now, with that confirmation, let's set up their options trading strategy to see which sentiment and stock direction they're betting on. And so, based on our deeper research and analysis of supporting data, we found that this wealthy investor sold these 5-strike puts, collecting premium to buy these 10-strike calls and selling these 13-strike calls to collect even more premium and reduce their overall cost basis. And remember, for every one put option, there were 2 call options, so we need to adjust this ratio here to match their setup. This sets up a more sophisticated option strategy, which we can analyze here using the risk profile graph, where the profit or loss shows up here, and the x-axis represents the share price of the stock, which is currently trading over here, and the y-axis represents the amount of profit or loss. Note the zero break-even line over here. And so when the purple line, which represents the current date, and the blue line, which represents the option's expiration date, are trading below this zero break-even line, as the share price goes down, this trade becomes more negative, more loss. And as the share price goes up, this trade becomes more positive, more profitable. In other words, this trade is going long bullish on Peloton stock with this option strategy. We can also verify that by checking the options Greeks. This trade has a positive delta, which means it's positioned long and bullish. If it was a short bearish trade, we would see a negative delta instead. But notice how this trade would not necessarily result in a big loss if the stock moves lower, because there's a built-in hedge within this option strategy. That's why you can see the blue line staying flat along the zero break-even level, all the way down to the $5 share price. That's because this investor sold the $5 strike price put options as part of a cash secured option strategy, which essentially means they're willing to own 100 shares of the stock at the $5 strike price. That means each put options contract sold, $500 of buying power was required. So to estimate the total trade size, we multiply this buying power by the number of put options sold, 25,000 contracts, which equals approximately $12 million required for this unusual trade. But keep in mind, just because a trade is large does not necessarily mean it has a high probability of success. In fact, this one carries more risk than the smaller, more selective trades we share on our website. And so if you want to get access to the lower risk trades with a higher probability of profit, then go to our website. We'll link it up here. And if you join the membership through our website instead of YouTube, you'll also receive additional trade alerts by email, because YouTube does not share your email address with us. So if you want more opportunities to profit, make sure to join the membership through our website. Keep in mind that our members also get earlier access to trades like this before anyone else, even before we share it with the public. So if you're tired of being late and want more time to act on these opportunities, just head over to our website, where you can see exactly which stocks wealthy investors are trading on Wall Street and when they're doing it, so that you can have the same opportunities as the rich. Because if the rich get richer, why shouldn't you? Now, with that said, even though this trade is higher risk, we still took it, but we used position sizing and a slightly different strategy to manage our risk. And so, if we go back to the option chain for these April 17th options, we bought these 10 strike calls and got into the same position marked as POS, which stands for our position. The green color indicates a buy position. And we sold these 13 strike calls and also got into the same position. The red color means a sell position. But notice how we do not have a position at the 5 strike puts. We did not sell the put options because it requires a lot more capital, making it more difficult to manage risk by position sizing. And that is why we only bought the 10 strike calls and sold the 13 strike calls, setting up a vertical call spread option strategy. And so when we analyze our trade, you can see here on the risk profile graph, as the share price goes up, our trade becomes more positive, more profitable, because this is also a long bullish trade. We can confirm that by checking the options Greeks. This trade also has a positive delta. But keep in mind the risk with this trade. It could take a significant loss if the stock moves lower, unlike the wealthy investors trade, which has a built-in hedge from selling put options. Because of this added risk, along with other factors, we only took a small position in this trade. We do not invest a lot of capital into these higher risk trades. Instead, we focus most of our capital on lower risk, higher probability of profit trades, the kind of trades we share on our website. We'll put a link to our website here where you can also learn more strategies to increase your profits. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Peloton stock will move higher or drop lower? As always, please like, subscribe, and until next time, let's keep tracking the trades of the rich so everyday investors can profit too. Take care and have a wonderful day.